So, Nicky, another theme which is massively important is looking at powers of attorney, and especially for us in care, we need people to be aware of what a power of attorney is and how it can be of value and how important it is. So could I ask you to tell us, I believe there are two powers of attorney. Can you please explain that to us and go through it?
I can, and these are such important documents, and there's no point thinking about making them when I need it, because that will be too late. So
Yeah.
so the two types there's actually a really old type, which is called an enduring power of attorney. You could make those up until 2007, but if somebody has one, they are still valid. Okay, so you have old enduring powers, but much more commonly now we have lasting powers of attorney, and this is basically somebody's opportunity to appoint someone that they trust, so ordinarily a family member, but it doesn't have to be, but somebody that they really, really trust, that could make the right decisions for them, the best decisions for them, if at some future date they were unable to make decisions for themselves, in a nutshell.
Brilliant, thank you. And I believe there are two types of lasting power of attorney.
Yeah, there are. There's a property and finance one, which is, as you would expect, it will allow your attorney to make decisions about your finances. It would enable them to pay bills if we were just talking about a scenario where somebody was temporarily incapacitated. If they'd had a road accident, if they were in a coma just for a short while, it will enable somebody to still access the bank account, pay those bills, or more significant transactions such as selling a property if somebody had moved into a care home. So all decisions around the money. And the other type is a health and welfare one. And again, there's often an assumption that your next of kin or your spouse will automatically be able to make those decisions for you about where your care might be and so on and so forth. But they do still actually need to be legally appointed, and the health and welfare power of attorney is the way to do that. So again, a really, really important document. Everyone should have one. This isn't something that you should leave until later life. Any one of us could be mentally incapacitated temporarily or permanently. So these are really, really important documents, and you are given the chance to appoint somebody you trust and to express your wishes.
Great. And I think very importantly for us is that the lasting power of attorney is so important for families to have, because if you're unable to make a decision, you need to have somebody you can trust that will be able to support you.
Yeah.
And just from your experience, would you have the same person managing your financial power of attorney and your health and care, or what would you suggest?
I mean, me personally, I have two children that are very different. And so I would feel more comfortable, one of them, I won't say which, one of them being appointed to sort my money, and the other being appointed to sort care decisions, more touchy-feely, emotional. So I think you have to pick the person best suited to the role. There's no point having somebody in charge of money who can't manage their own money, for example. So, and you have more than one, you can have several attorneys. Yeah, there's lots to think about. I think there's a temptation here for people to do this online.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure you would necessarily think through all the things you need to if you're just doing a DIY, same as doing a DIY will. But by the same token, you don't necessarily need to pay high street solicitor prices. You know, there are professional estate planners and so on who can sit and fill that middle ground. So definitely take advice, but you can have different people as your attorneys according to their skill sets, I would say.
Okay, so Nicky, we've just discussed powers of attorney and how important it is. What happens if you don't have one?
Well, that's a very good question, because you have to have mental capacity when setting them up. So if that point has passed and it's not possible to establish a power of attorney, then the only option for the family is to go to the Court of Protection and apply to become the person's deputy. So they're actually applying for something called a deputyship order. That is a very lengthy process, and it's much more expensive than it would be to set up powers of attorney in the first place. So if it's genuinely too late, that's the route somebody can go, but that is best avoided if at all possible by advanced planning. I think the way to think about lasting powers of attorney in some senses is like any insurance. You make it, you sign it, you get it all set up. You may never need it, but
Yeah.
if it's done, it's there. And that's, I think, how people really ought to think about it.
Great. And I think from both our professional point of view, this is one of the most important things that people should look at.
Yeah.
As you say, not just because of looking at care for your mum or dad or for a loved one. I think in the longer term, to have this is a very important document to protect you. Nicky, thank you so much for your time today. That has been absolutely wonderful. I think we've covered a lot of very important topics, and hopefully it will be of use to somebody who really will benefit from having this information. All of the links are going to be on our website. All of this information and all of the short videos that we have are going to be shared, and hopefully you're going to be able to share them with people yourself.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Nicky. And a final note from yourself.
Oh, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to people. We're just, you know, I had a lady just yesterday saying, why is it not easier to find this information out? So we, you know, anything we can do to reach the people that need it is great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time again.
Thank you.
Thanks.